What's going on, guys? My name is Monotooi, coach of the Tampa Bay Luxrays, and today I'm bringing you guys our Week 3 match versus Jordinez. Please check out his Twitter and YouTube in the description below, as well as the PPL YouTube and Twitter as well. Getting into the match real quick, he brought his Arcanine, Skarmory, Greninja, Mienshao, Garchomp, and Mega Gardevoir, about the team I expected, and I have a whole team builder dedicated to my team. However, just a quick rundown, we have our Agility Zapdos, we have our Nidoqueen with the Payapa Berry, we have our Specs Whimsicott, we have our Specially Defensive Ferrothorn, we have our Mega Lopunny, and we have our Flareon. So first thing I noticed, no Heliolisk. That's just something I noticed. That's pretty much the only thing I expected him to potentially bring, but a team of 6 he brought, I am fully prepped for, so I'm looking forward to it. He does have the Greninja, so hopefully Flareon will get its moment there. Ferrothorn is going to be very important, switches into the Skarmory, the Greninja, can deal with the Garchomp, can deal with the Gardevoir, so that's going to be very important. Of course, the Payapa Berry on Nidoqueen will hopefully go to work, and yeah, that's pretty much all I got about the pre-game. This is a very good game, so I'm going to get into it right away, and I hope you guys enjoy. So, starting off the match, there's Jordan, he's a shooting challenge. I am going to lead with my Zapdos. It was just a very good overall lead for everything, pretty much other than this Gardevoir, which I do have the chance to 2 a KO, but I do not want to take a Hyper Voice. I want this thing healthy. So I am going to hard switch out into my Ferrothorn, my dedicated switch into this. I don't think he's going to over-predict, or I don't think he's going to make a prediction go for Focus Blast, even though, as you can see there, Ferrothorn shuddered with anticipation. Another misgen for my team. You'll see how that plays out later, but I did not have Iron Barbs, not a huge deal. He is just going to go for the Psyshock. Again, not really over-predicting, just going for the Psyshock. I do take it very well, even though I'm not physically bulk invested. I'm a Ferrothorn and I am max HP, so I do take it very well. He's going to be forced to switch out. He doesn't want to take a Gyro Ball, and he's going to go out into his counter to this thing, the Arcanine, which is totally fine because I did not attack the Gardevoir, I just went for my Stealth Rocks. It's going to be very important to weaken his team, wear his team down over time, force him to force things out and get damage on them as they come in with Stealth Rocks, of course. I cannot stay in, so I'm going to go out into my Flareon, which is my pivot to this thing. Like, I switch in, then predict something else, switch out, but he actually predicts that and goes out into his Greninja, which is not a problem, because I'm an Assault Vest Flareon. I can take any hit from this, even a Life Orb Hydro Pump, even like a Life Orb Waterfall, so I can just take that and go for the Superpower, but he unfortunately goes for the U-turn instead, so Flareon is not going to get its kill, but at least we do see that the Greninja is Life Orb, so it's not Scarfed. My Lopunny is guaranteed to outspeed it, which is very important for us. He is going to send out his Arcanine once again, going to take the Stealth Rocks damage, and then is going to take a Superpower relatively well because he is an Intimidate Arcanine. And this damage right here, sorry about that, had somebody interrupt me there. I'm going to go for the Superpower on the Arcanine switch in. It's not going to do a lot, which tells me that this is a defensive Arcanine, which is good because an offensive Arcanine was actually a pretty big issue to my team. Not that defensive is going to be super easy to deal with, but it's less threatening than an offensive one. I'm going to switch out. I can't really do much to this thing. He's likely going to heal up, so I'm going to go right out into my Nidoqueen as he just goes for the Morning Sun, wanting to keep his Arcanine healthy. And this is very good for me because I can either fire off an Earth Power, which nothing wants to take. Last Reborn is online. He can either he can go to Skarmory, potentially pivot around, but my best play is to just go for my Toxic Spikes. I do, again, like I said, I want the residual damage on his team. I want to wear his team down, and now both of my hazards are up, so I can now start firing off attacks with my Pokemon. I am going to switch out. I don't want to take an Earthquake whatsoever. I don't think he's going to predict me go for like a Poison Jab or an Iron Head here. He actually just goes for the Swords Dance, which is good for me because I switch out of my Whimsicott, I outspeed it, can hit it with a Moonblast, and he is now forced to switch out. And his only real switch in now, because rocks are up, is going to be his Skarmory, which, as you can see by this damage, is 100% physically defensive. Like I thought, he had to bring it from my Mega Lopunny, and that does so much damage. This Whimsicott is a very nice addition to my team. Thank you, Kyle, for the advice of bringing an offensive Whimsicott, especially a Specs Whimsicott. But I'm going to switch out. Don't want to take a Brave Bird from this thing, and I'm going to get a free switch into my Zapdos, as he is actually going to pull a double, I believe, out into his Arcanine, potentially trying to take a couple Moonblasts potentially if I decided to go for that. I don't know if he thought Moonblast would kill, but he is going to go out into his Arcanine. He's going to take the Rocks damage, going to take the Toxic Spike damage, get off the useless Intimidate. And this is fine for me, because this is a defensive Arcanine, can't do too much damage to me. I'm an offensive Zapdos, I can do a ton of damage to him. So after all these animations are going to go off, you're going to see I do just stay in, do go for the Thunderbolt. Of course I do outspeed. And it does a massive amount of damage to this Arcanine, as he just goes for the Toxic, which is great, because with the Rocks up, he cannot switch out unless he plans on defogging later, which again, every time he goes into Skarmory to defog, I have a free switch into the Zapdos. The Toxic does make it a little more difficult to get an Agility Sweep off later on, but again, not a huge deal. I will happily trade a Toxic on my Zapdos for getting rid of this Arcanine. It is probably the biggest threat to my team. It's stopping, not it's stopping a whole lot, but it could be an issue. Like, it can switch into my Whimsicott if it's healthy, but now it is gone, and he is very slowly losing his switch-ins to my Lopunny. Not that Arcanine appreciated it after Rocks, but he's losing his switch-ins. Now all he has is his Skarmory. Here he's going to send in his Garchomp. It's going to take the Toxic Spikes, going to take the Rocks. I am going to switch out. I don't want him to be Yachi Berry, live a hit, and then have my Zapdos weakened, so I am just going to go back out into my Whimsicott as he goes straight for the Earthquake. Maybe predicting a Roost. Pretty good play on Jordan's part, but I am just going to go out into my Whimsicott, and because his Skarmory is weakened, he has absolutely no switch into this. I'm going to go for the Moonblast, and it is going to easily knock out this Garchomp, so the two most problematic things on his team against my team are now gone, which is perfect. He's going to send out his Skarmory, pretty much the only thing that can take a hit from my Whimsicott at this point. And even then, I believe it was actually a roll, and I potentially could have killed it there, but I didn't want to risk it. I need my Whimsicott. So I'm going to go out into my Zapdos, which is a very good thing for me, because, again, this thing threatens his entire team. He no longer has his Garchomp, so I can just spam Thunderbolt for the entirety of the game. Could have gone for an Agility here, but I knew his Mienshao was at full health, and the Thunderbolt would not quite knock it out. So, again, best play here is just to click Thunderbolt. This Skarmory is going to go down to its 30, and anything he brings in will take a ton of damage or go down, and he brings out his Mienshao, the only thing that can take a hit from this thing. I go for the Thunderbolt, and it's just shy of knocking it out, but that is totally fine. Again, damage on this thing is very important, because if it is Scarfed, I'll be able to just knock it out with a Fake Out from my Lopunny at this point. So I'm going to switch out into my Nidoqueen here, predicting either a Stone Edge or a U-turn, as he does reveal the U-turn, and as you'll see here, in one moment, after the U-turn goes off, of course, he's actually Life Orb, so my Lopunny will outspeed it no matter what. Well, pretty much that's it. My Lopunny will outspeed it. Actually, yeah, my Whimsicott will outspeed it as well, so that's actually very good for me. He's going to go into his Gardevoir thinking he can take me out, but with the Pyapa Berry, I will be able to take the Psyshock, which is perfect, because I'll be able to fire off a Poison Jab and knock it out as long as he doesn't have any HP investment, or even, like, minimal HP investment, but he lives. Which is unfortunate, but Nidoqueen did its job in weakening the Gardevoir, which is totally fine. It's in range of Fake Out range from Lopunny. He actually had 92 Eevees in defense on this Gardevoir, which is why he lived. I guess maybe I should have been like a minus the Def Nature instead of a Modest Nature, but not a huge deal. I can go out into my Mega Lopunny, just rack up, move it up the spot on the Golden Pokeball Award, even though it's already at number 1, just keeping it at number 1 by getting kills occasionally, so Lopunny's just going to go for the Fake Out, knocks out the Gardevoir, and now he has to go out into his Skarmory, the only thing that can deal with my Lopunny at this point. Mienshao will not outspeed me, the Greninja will die to me, and I'm going to pause it right here. I have two plays that I could possibly do. I could go out into my Zapdos on whatever move he wants to go for, click Agility, and sweep the rest of his team. Like, I knock out the Greninja, I knock out the Skarmory, I knock out the Mienshao from where it's at, or I could go out into my Flareon and try and deal some damage that way. Now, I think Flareon is my better play for two reasons. One, my Zapdos is Toxic and his Mienshao is Life Orb. So if I go out into my Zapdos, suppose he sacks this thing off, he sacks his Greninja, he can go out into Mienshao, click Fake Out, hit me with the Fake Out damage, I take Toxic damage, he goes into something else, sacks it, goes back out into Mienshao, click Fake Out, I'll probably get worn down and potentially die before I can do anything. However, if I go out to Flareon, I can take a hit from anything and just proceed to kill things, and then save my Zapdos for later, because I can take a hit from the Greninja at this point. I can take a hit from the Mienshao at this point, as long as it's not a Stone Edge, though I would go down to a Stone Edge, and he's probably packing it. Second reason for going out to Flareon is because what type of person would I be if I didn't get a little Flareon sweep at the end? So we're going to go out into our Flareon, as he actually just sets up the Stealth Rocks, which is perfect, because I don't plan on switching this thing out anytime soon. At this point, he needs a Skarmory for the Mega Lopunny. If he lets this go down, he 100% loses to the Mega Lopunny. I outspeed both Greninja and the Mienshao, and my Fake Out would out-prioritize his Fake Out after I Mega Evolve, so he's going to go into his Mienshao just to sack it off, meaning that Flareon is going to get 1 kill this game. 1 kill for this season, that is perfect. Very happy about that. He's then going to send out his Greninja, and like I said, oh, my mouse is there. Mouse still there. Get out of the way. Okay. Like I said, I can take a Life Orb Hydro Pump from this thing and knock it out with Superpower. Goes for Scald. I tank it because Flareon is a beast, and with the Assault Vest, it's going to do even less. I'm going to go for the Superpower, and it is just going to clean knock out this Greninja. So, I apologize. Flareon, putting in a ton of work at the end here, is going to be able to knock out 2 things on his team. And now, unfortunately, because I am a minus speed nature, he will be able to go into his Skarmory, just knock me out with a Brave Bird, but he goes for the Roost first. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe if I get a burn, I can live with Brave Bird, maybe? So I go for the Lava Plume. I know it's going to deal a ton of damage. Not quite bring it down to its 30, but it is going to deal a ton of damage. No burn. Roost was his best play in case I did something stupid, because he needs it healthy for the Lopunny, like I said. And he reveals Iron Head. So as long as I don't flinch, I get a 3rd kill with Flareon this match. And that is going to be a good game, Jordan. The Skarmory is going to go down, and we end this match 5-0 win in our favor, with Flareon getting 3 kills. That is incredible. Flareon was the last pick on my draft. It was just a crappy 4 million fire type that I picked up at the end as like an emergency cleric, as like an emergency wish passer, fire immunity for Ferrothorn. And here it is against one of the scariest teams that we've faced so far, getting 3 kills. So that's really exciting. Please check out Jordan in the description below. Check out the PPL Twitter and YouTube, as well as the other coaches down below in the description. All the coaches of D2 will be there. Thank you guys very much for watching. Next week we go up against the... Who do we go up against? I forget their name. We go up against AmazingChi and the Newcrustle United? I think that's it. Yeah, Newcrustle United. Someone who hacks us out of our last match. Not that he played poorly, but we were kind of stripped of our chance to win because of a few dice rolls. So we're going to be looking to beat him. Thank you guys very much for watching. Like I said, have a nice day.